Hi there, and welcome to this bonus episode of the Gazette's Hockey Inside Out show. I'm Stu Cowan of the Gazette, and I'm joined by former Canadiens defenseman, assistant coach, 1986 Stanley Cup champ Rick Green, and my Gazette colleague Brendan Kelly, who writes the What the Puck column. Rick, big trade, or one of the moves in the offseason that Kent Hughes made is trading Logan Mailloux, defenseman Logan Mailloux, to the Blues for Zachary Bolduc. Mailloux's 23, Bolduc's 23, two guys who didn't work out for either team, which is why they were traded. At this point, what do you think about that trade? What do you think about what Bolduc's done here and what Mailloux's done with St. Louis?
Well, let's face it, he put a lot of excitement in when he first arrived and started banging goals in left and right and said, oh, this guy's going to make it happen. And of course, being stuck at 10 goals now for quite a while, you'd like to see more production from him. He's averaging over 13 minutes a game, and he doesn't seem to have that little extra oomph that will allow him to contribute offensively. And I mean, he's given opportunity. He's got to make better of it, and we're not seeing it right now. And there has to be a greater sense of urgency in his overall game. He wants to get some results, and I don't see that right now. And hopefully he's a young guy. Hopefully he's going to understand the importance of making something happen when he gets the opportunity to play. And right now he's not taking advantage of the chances that he's been given, and that's going to hurt him if he doesn't figure it out sooner than later.
Well, less than a full season in, Brent. I guess you can't say a winner or a loser in a trade. I mean, at the point of this taping, Logan Mailloux, 52 games played, 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points, minus 20. Zachary Bolduc, 65 games played, 10 goals, 16 assists, 26 points. But after not scoring in the overtime game against Boston, he's now gone 28 games without a goal. As Rick said, he started off really, really good, scored in the first 3 games. And what do you think about his performance recently?
I think the fact is this is not looking like a good trade right at this exact second. I mean, again, Bolduc came in with another sort of we were sold a bill of goods that this guy was going to be really something, that he hit hard and scored. He had a great second half of the season with St. Louis last season. And as Rick said, he bounced right out and scored a bunch of goals and then went completely cold. And really, for much of the season, hasn't been adding that much to the equation. Logan Mailloux didn't do that great at St. Louis at first, but everything I'm reading about how it's going now is that he's establishing himself as a key player in the defense for the Blues, playing, I think, 18, 19 minutes a night. And when you look at that and you realize all of the problems that we've had in the back end this season that the Canadiens have had, it's maybe that would have been nice to, they keep saying, there aren't enough options for St. Louis in terms of who he can play on the D. Maybe would have been nice to have Mailloux in the mix. So, I mean, it's too early to, fully say, and Bolduc has been playing a little bit better, but still not adding much in the offense. And you know what? I mean, that's not even maybe the most important thing with him, that this team doesn't have enough forward to hit hard. And that's part of his game that would be great if he could do that, and he does it a bit, but not enough. So I'd say it's been a bit of a disappointment for Montreal.
Well, he does rank second on the Canadiens in hits behind Arbor Jackeye. He must be frustrating for him, Rick, now they're going so many games without a goal. But, Logan Mailloux, 6'3", 212 pounds, right shot defenseman. They're looking for that right shot defenseman. You have to wonder, the controversy over the decision to draft Logan Mailloux when they drafted him and all the, that hit the fan afterwards. You wonder if that factored into it. Do you think that might have played some part of a role in the trade, Rick?
Well, let's face it, it's kind of a crapshoot, at times where you're kind of projecting certain individuals to become a certain type of player, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Mailloux, they knew kind of what he was all about, what he could bring and not bring. And Bolduc, as a local French Canadian kid, they wanted to give an opportunity for a guy to come and play in an environment that he probably would love the opportunity to do. And, to date, he hasn't been able to respond probably the way he would hope to. And, like I said, he's a young guy. He just has to make better of the time that he's given to make the difference in the game. And his physicality has to be part of it. The crashing in the net has to be part of it. His corner work has to be all in his game plan. And he's got to figure that out, in order for him to stay in the lineup.
Yeah, he's got a great shot. He misses the net a lot, though. It's one of the things I've noticed. And, with Mailloux defensively, Brendan, I mean, he struggled when he was here. He struggled when he was in Laval, and he struggled also in St. Louis after the trade. But maybe they're getting him on track there. Do you think the controversy around the decision to draft him might have also played into the trade?
That's a great question because, the spit really did hit the fan with that. And, many believe that maybe that sealed the deal for former general manager Marc Bergevin agreeing to draft Mailloux with the allegations or the conviction, actually, from what he had done. And I think that hurt. It's for an organization like the Canadiens, they take that maybe more seriously than most organizations, right? They really don't want to be having anything that's less than
Tarnishes the brand.
Yeah, that's it. That's less than squeaky clean. But you know what? I kind of sense that had blown over, that it's time has passed, and it's like, you know what? He kind of paid the price in a way with all of the controversy. So no, I think it was more a matter of, like you were saying, that look, he wasn't looking great. The couple of times he'd been called up to the big team, hadn't been particularly impressive in Laval. So it wasn't working out, but it wasn't working out at first in St. Louis, and now it is. This is what happens with young players. Because
it was working out for Bolduc in Montreal at first, and then now it's not. So
and also Bolduc, the second half of the season, I forget what they said, but he scored a crazy amount of goals, and he hit hard, and you're thinking, this is a beautiful thing for the Canadiens to have. They don't have, who are the forwards who hit hard? Anderson, maybe Slav at on occasion. There's not a lot of them, so that would have been a great thing to bring to the mix, and it hasn't happened. You know what? It'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, if and when they're in the playoffs, you think he could be an interesting guy in the playoffs, but it's been a disappointment. There's no question about it. And you know what? You evaluate the players when you make the trade. And at that point, Mailloux looked like it wasn't happening for Montreal. And Bolduc looked like a nice addition. But you know what? You've got problems on D. And D is so key. You're trading away, someone, if he becomes a strong, consistent defenseman for St. Louis, this will not be a great look for Kent Hughes.
Well, Bolduc, to his credit, he hasn't been scoring, but the physicality, as I mentioned, second in hits behind Arbor Xhekaj. He's trying to bring that element to his game. As I mentioned earlier, Mailloux 23, Bolduc 23. Too early to say a winner and a loser. We'll revisit this in a couple of years, and we'll see how it looks then. Anyway, that's it for this bonus episode of the Hockey Inside Out show. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll have a couple of more bonus episodes coming up over the next few days, so you can look for those. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the Hockey Inside Out YouTube channel. And in case you didn't already know, Hockey Inside Out is also available now on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts.